DLC 16 is now available for purchase, and once again, I've got a full breakdown video for you, discussing all of the details. I've got a lot to go over, including the characters and their skills, the clothes, the super souls, the artwork, and the parallel quests that you get them in. And a little bit of story elements too. So let's get this going. The three characters that come along in this DLC pack are the long-awaited Beast Gohan, Power Awakening Piccolo, and as well as Orange Piccolo. And starting with Beast Gohan's moves, first we have Demon Flurry, which is a rather basic and very easy to understand move. You can continue to press the button to do more attacks, up to a maximum of 6 times. And if you time the inputs just right, you can do extra damage with each attack. The base damage with Beast Gohan seems to be about 2,505, and the most damage I was able to get in my testing was 5,627. So with the proper timing, you can do well over double the amount of damage you would do if you had crappy timing or if you were just trying to mash the attack out. And so we have Demon Ray, which is a very solid move overall, I'd say. This move has 2 parts to it. The first part of the move has you throw out a burst of ki. And if you hit the input again, it will follow up with a Kamehameha wave, all for just 1 bar of ki. However, the real secret to using this move is not doing the second input. Most of the damage comes from the first hit anyway, plus it puts your opponent in a state where you can easily go up and continue your combo. This function can be used in the middle of your combo or off of a knockback very effectively. You can also use this super attack as an evasive at the cost of 3 bars of stamina. And although that is an expensive price to pay, the move does function in a highly effective manner as an evasive to get you out of basic attack combos, as not only does it get you out of trouble, but it leaves the opponent wide open for attack. Now, Demon Flash Strike is an interesting move that can be used as a counter. If you just press the input once, you will perform the counter version of this skill. And while being one of the trickier counters to use, it does deal a crap load of damage in just one kick if you pull it off properly. Now, you don't have to use this skill as a counter, however. If you press the input a second time, the attack will have you home right in on your opponent and do an attack where you perform a punch followed by a blast. Beast Gohan actually has Ultimate Charge, which has the same animations as Ultra Instinct Goku's Spirit Surge does. And moving on to his ultimates here, he does have Reverse Mabakusenko, which is a counter ultimate. There doesn't really seem to be anything special about Beast Gohan's version here. It's simple, you use it, and if the enemy hits you, their attack will fail, and you'll just blast them back. That is, if they are up close, after all. The much more fun and more interesting Special Beast Cannon is one of the new ultimates that came in this DLC, and once again, this move has 2 different versions of it. The standing version of this attack will simply have you fire the beam, which can be charged the longer you hold down the button it's assigned to. If you tilt the left analog stick forward while inputting the move, you will start off by doing a jump kick that seems to force the opponent down into place, allowing the beam portion of the move to connect fully charged. With my testing in photo mode, I couldn't use an evasive or use Demon Ray to get out of this attack when the kick input was used, making this variation particularly deadly, and well worth the 5 bars of ki this skill needs in order to activate. His evasive attack is Evil Whirlwind. It costs 3 bars of stamina, which is pretty rough, and it seems like it just functions the same way as its super attack variant does. It's just a swing kick. So with all of Beast Gohan skills out of the way, let's go on ahead and move on to Orange Piccolo's now. Starting with Super Explosive Wave, this move functions exactly how it does in the base game. Costs 2 bars of ki, and it's pretty good to use off of any knockdown or knockback combo. You can also use the backflip variation where if you pull back on the left analog stick while launching the move, you will first perform a backflip, and otherwise there doesn't really seem to be anything different about his variation. And second here we have Fierce Fist, which is a pretty neat move that kind of works like a strike version of Crush Cannon. The move can be charged up to 3 times, and you don't have to charge it all at once. You can block while using the move, and it will store your charges for later, provided you don't get hit while you're charging it. This move kinda reminds me of Focus Punch from Pokemon in that regard. This move does solid damage when charged up to its 3rd stage, and it has solid range for a strike skill, and all stages of the move can connect off of knockbacks and knockdowns. His 3rd move is Demonic Destruction, which is a very simple move. You pick up your opponent and then you put them down. The move doesn't seem to have any other special properties or extra inputs. It is worth noting that if you are very close to the ground, you can pick things up with a combo immediately after using this attack, but otherwise it isn't anything too special or noteworthy. Orange Piccolo just has maximum charge to charge his ki, nothing too special there. And as for his ultimates, he has full power energy wave, which I'm pretty sure doesn't really need any introduction, works off of knockbacks really well, whether your opponent is stamina broken or not. Real quick, real reliable. Very generic, but yeah, it works. Now, on to one of my favorite moves in the DLC, Apocalyptic Burst. It's possibly one of the most satisfying moves to use in this game. The move starts off with a Sparta kick that is followed up by an absolute beatdown. The move puts the opponent into a grab animation, so if you land the initial Sparta kick, then they're taking the rest of the damage, whether you asked them to or not. You can hold down the input to charge up the Sparta kick, which will stamina break the opponent, in case you hadn't already, and will also offer up a little bit of extra damage as well if you chose to charge it. And as per the evasive, he's got Special Beam Blast, which is just the same as it ever was before. You just kind of out of the way, and then you fire a little beam blend. And now that we've covered Orange Piccolo, let's downgrade and talk about Power Awakening Piccolo. The first attack on his roster is Evil Eyes, which can be used much in the same way as it already has been up to this point. It's pretty great at extending your combo off of a knockback. However, Power Awakening Piccolo's version of the attack can combo with itself up to 3 times. This will cost you 3 bars of ki, and quite frankly, the damage isn't worth it. But hey, the option is available to you on this character exclusively. And next up, we have the well-renowned Special Beam Cannon, which doesn't have anything too special to talk about, I'm afraid. It's just Special Beam Cannon in super attack form. It combos well off of knockbacks and most knockdowns, but it doesn't offer any special properties or bonuses, and its damage isn't too great either. He's also got Meteor Crash, which doesn't seem to have any special properties to it either, just seems like a very basic Meteor Crash. He's also got Max Charge to charge his ki. Now, one kind of neat thing is that he does have 2 new and exclusive ultimate attacks. One's pretty great, the other not so much, so let's talk about it here. Evil Explosion is a pretty straightforward ultimate that is similar to Apocalyptic Burst in the sense that it starts off with a beatdown that ends in a blast to the face. Another satisfying and enjoyable move to use that comes out pretty quick, does pretty good damage, and only costs 3 bars of ki. Now, kind of moving on to the lesser ultimate, in my opinion, we've got Light Grenade, which is basically a beefed up but watered down version of its super attack version that's already in the game. From a distance, the move does not do very good damage. You can squeeze a little bit more damage out of it whenever you launch it from up close, but you gotta be real up close and personal to your opponent. But otherwise, it just doesn't offer up anything special. It's just a weak energy blast, unfortunately. And as per his evasive, he's got Evil Flight Strike. It functions very much the same as the Evil Flight Strike super attack that we've already got. except you use it as an evasive. And I suppose you could use it in the same way that you always did use the move, but instead of costing 1 bar of ki, it's going to cost you 3 bars of stamina. So you're going to have to weigh your options exactly on how you're going to use this one. Alright, with the characters and all of their skills out of the way, it's time to move on to the parallel quests and their rewards. This DLC comes with parallel quests 159 to 162, and to start with 159, you need to clear it in 7 minutes in order to get the ultimate finish. There are 2 super souls that you can get from this quest here. The first one is Enter a Hero, which whenever you use a pose, it will boost the power of your strike and ki blast skills by 5% up to 5 times. So if you use 5 poses during a match, you can get a maximum of a 25% increase to your strike and ki blast skills there. The other super soul you can get is called The Red Ribbon Army is Back in Business, and when the battle begins, it will temporarily activate ki auto recovery mode for you and all of your allies, while always boosting the attacks for you and your allies. This also has an attack boost ki auto recovery limit burst. The other rewards that you can get in this quest include Dr. Hedo's Hood, as well as artworks 467, 473, and 487. This is also where you get Fierce Fist and Demonic Destruction. Next, in Parallel Quest 160, you have to clear the mission in 7 minutes in order to get the ultimate finish. And your rewards are the Super Soul, Is That All? Which, when using a Just Guard or a Perfect Block, it will boost your strike skills by 5% and your ki blast skills by 10%, and it can be stacked up to 5 times. So if you get a maximum of 5 perfect blocks in a match, that means you can get your strike skills up to a 25% increase, and your ki blast skills up to a 50% increase. So a pretty solid Super Soul overall. The other rewards are the Red Ribbon Army Helmet. There's also artworks 463, 465, and 488. The skills you can get are Demon Ray, Demon Flash Strike, and Demon Flurry. So that's where you're going to be finding your Beast Gohan super attacks. Next, in Parallel Quest 161, once again you will have 7 minutes in order to get the ultimate finish. The rewards are the Super Soul, I'm a Whole New Me, which one time, when your health is below 50%, you will get Ki Auto Recovery Mode, and it will also boost your stamina recovery speed by about 10%. Now, the fact that this only activates once and isn't any time that you are below 50% is kind of the killer for this Super Soul, but otherwise in this parallel quest, this is where you're going to get the Red Ribbon Soldier 94 clothes, along with artworks 469, 481, and 489. This is also where you get Orange Piccolo's Apocalyptic Burst. And lastly, in Parallel Quest 162, you will need to keep your own health above 50% by the time the match ends in order to achieve the ultimate finisher. Your rewards include the Super Soul, Shenron Really Went the Extra Mile, which will always reduce the damage taken from all attacks by 10%, and it will boost the amount of ki restored by 10%. And when the battle ends, what it says is it boosts item drop rate. Now, as of right now, we're not 100% sure exactly what this means, if this just means items like capsules and things of that nature, material items, or if it extends to things like skills and super souls and clothing. From my own experience and from the little bit of information I have been able to find, it seems like it doesn't really affect skill drop rate, but oddly enough, the skill drop rate for skills in this DLC is higher than usual. So It's kind of questionable exactly what this does, but from my own testing, I can say that I did get some clothing drops more frequently than not. So right now, this Super Soul is a little bit of an enigma, but once I get more information on it, I'll probably just make a whole video revolving around this to kind of clear up any kind of confusion and to clarify exactly what it does and does not affect. But otherwise, here's where you're going to be getting the Dr. Hedo suit, as well as the Beast Gohan wig, and artworks 466, 477, and 490. And the skill you get in this quest is Special Beast Cannon. Now, lastly, there are 3 new story missions which can be found in a floating orb off to the right-hand side as soon as you enter the Time Nest. Each of these missions will reward you with a new artwork upon the first time completing them. I'm not really going to go over them in detail, but just know that from the first mission, you'll get artwork 479. From the second mission, you'll get artwork 482. And in the third and final mission, you will have a choice to make at the end of the mission, but regardless of which choice you choose, you will end up with artwork number 468. And that's that, folks. That's everything you get whenever you purchase DLC 16 Hero of Justice Pack 2 for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. I certainly do hope you found everything you were looking for in this video. If I missed anything, be sure to leave a comment down below. And until we meet again, make sure you take care. See ya!